Shalom, shalom, to Brother Kadash, giving out praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah, Kadash. This is Hellfire, but at the top of this chapter, the notes say teachings on murder and anger. Teachings on murder and anger. Very important. All right. I've seen a lot of people deal with anger in different ways, and childish ways at that. But this is Matthew's chapter 5. And I'm just going to start at verse 21. It says, "Ye have heard that it was said by them of old time, thou shalt not kill, and whoever should kill shall be in danger of judgment." Right? So what's the difference from like killing and murder? Right? So murder is like, if it's justified, like, and this is what it really means. Like, murder is like, it's not justified. Like, you murder somebody and you almost like offensive with it. You see what I'm saying? Like you murdering somebody because it's like they did something you don't like. But it depends on what that is. Like, let's just say it's self-defense. Like somebody attack you and you kill them. You did kill them, but not so much murder them. You see what I'm saying? It's just a slight little difference. But regardless on how you use the word, was it justified? Like when King David went to war with the Philistines, you know what I mean? He killed people, you know what I mean? But they was going to war, so it would have been justified. Or if people got put to death for like adultery, that would be justified because they committed adultery, a sin to death. And that's actually in our law. You see what I'm saying? Compared to if a person don't listen to you, or a person has a different perspective of something to you, and then you want to kill them, that's not justified. So let's keep going. Verse 22, "But I say unto you that whosoever is angry with his brother without a cause should be in danger of judgment." So now this is a part, because it says angry with your brother without a cause. Well, a lot of guys will say they got a cause to be angry with their brother. But this is the point, like, is that cause justified or not? But right now what we have is a lot of guys just going off their own heart. They not going off based on the Bible. That's how you could tell if it's justified or not, if it matches up with the law, statutes, and commandments or not. But let's keep going, because it's trying to get to a good point that I'm trying to get to. "And whosoever should say to his brother, Raka, shall be in danger of counsel," which is just saying, like, you saying your brother is worthless. "But whosoever shall say, thou fool, should be in danger of hellfire." So you calling your brother a fool, you pretty much just writing your brother off as being worthless. So today, some of the examples that guys would do is they would say, you a 2/3. And that's their way pretty much of writing you off, pretty much saying you worthless, pretty much saying you're gonna be put to death, and pretty much saying that you're a fool too. Verse 23, "Therefore, if thou bring thy gift to the altar, and there remembers that thy brother has aught against thee," and this is very important because this is in the New Testament, and a lot of guys are going to be guilty of this, and this is why I'm reading it, because of out of anger. You supposed to be reconciled to your brother. Verse 24, "Leave there thy gift before the altar and go thy way. First be reconciled to thy brother, and then come and offer thy gift. Agree with thy adversary quickly while thou art in the way with him, lest at any time thy adversary deliver thee to the judge, and the judge deliver thee to the officer, and thou be cast into prison." So you supposed to be reconciled to your brother. You not supposed to have what we would say today like a beef or an issue with a brother, especially another brother that's in the truth, for 10, 20 years because of some camp beef. Y'all was supposed to be reconciled. Y'all was once together before. Y'all was supposed to forgive each other for whatever trespass was there, because the Bible tells us that too, that we supposed to forgive each other. How many times? 70 times 70. But if I said that right, but You supposed to forgive your brother. And you supposed to not only forgive your brother, you supposed to be reconciled to your brother. So you got a duty to reach out to your brother and make good with whatever problem or issue y'all had, and and not only just make good, but be reconciled together. So you see elders and stuff that's in the truth with various different camps that their leaders used to all be with each other at one point in time, whether it was the same school or the old One West school. But today they just constantly arguing with each other and going back and forth with each other, and they never reconcile with each other. So they both in danger of, or they all are in danger of that hellfire, because they supposed to be reconciled with their brother. This is something that the Lord is telling us to do. And see, this is something when it gets to Ezekiel 20, when it gets to us going into the wilderness and the Lord purging out the rebels, this is what's going to get a lot of people to, this is what a lot of Israelites are going to rebel to, and this is what's going to get a lot of them put to death, because they're not going to want to be reconciled. When the Lord sits there, just like if you got a father and he got two sons, and he come home, the two sons is fighting in the house, the mom can't stop them. When the father come, whether who was wrong or who was right, he gonna sort that out of who was wrong, who was right. He gonna have a teaching moment. But one thing a father gonna do is he gonna make his two sons be reconciled together. He gonna make them, whatever, whoever was wrong, whoever was right, that's gonna get sorted out. And then after that, it's okay, y'all fighting, you was wrong, don't do this, you can't be doing that, might get punished for it. Okay, but y'all hug it out now. Because the goal is not to have the two brothers in competition with each other. The goal is for the two brothers to move as a unit, to be together, to love each other, not to have hate in their heart against thy brother. So it's the same thing in this truth. When we get in that wilderness, a lot of brothers, they not gonna want to give in to what the Lord is saying. When the Lord say that you have to be reconciled to this brother, it might be a brother where you thought that you kicked out your camp. It might be brother that you think is worthless and nothing. That's why I just read these verses. Oh, he ain't nothing. He a 2/3. But when the Lord come back, the Lord actually saves this brother, right? And then the Lord tell you, hey, you got to be reconciled to this brother. Y'all got to be brothers together. And then you're going to have guys that's just not going to want to get along with it. And they're going to rebel, but they going to rebel against the Lord, because it's going to be the Lord telling them to do this. Where it's going to be, nah, I don't like him. Nah, he did this, he did that. And the Lord going to be telling them, hey, y'all got to reconcile back together. Y'all brothers. And they ain't going to want to do it, and they going to get put to death. And then you got the camp demon, where you got a ranking demon on brothers, where they got some type of rank right now. They might be a leader or something like that, a captain or something like that. But when the Lord come back, it's like, how you gonna feel if you put yourself as, or the brothers, and you had this position as a leader, but when the Lord come back and the Lord say, hey, you got to humble yourself down. You ain't no leader over these brothers. And if the Lord set up leaders and you end up not being one, and then let's just say one of the leaders of 50, of 100 or whatever that the Lord set up was a brother that you kicked out your camp, that you thought you was better than, now all of a sudden he's over you. If the Lord sets up an order like that, how's that gonna make you feel? So what's gonna happen is a lot of brothers gonna rebel against that. They're gonna say, oh hell no, he over me? Oh, I'm out of here. And they're gonna get put to death by the Lord. So that's why I always say, like, the whole order stuff right now is going off, because you don't know who the elect is or not. You know what I mean? You don't know who the elect. What we supposed to be doing right now is trying to keep the law, statutes, commandments to the best of our abilities. Just like brothers get in the truth and they get so consumed by it that they start sinning against the Lord. They start hating their brother, right? They start saying things like calling their brother Rakah, calling thy brother a fool, not being reconciled with their brother because of the competition part that the camps bring. When the whole point of this is for us to love each other and be unified together. That's the whole point. So whatever you doing, if it's taking you away from loving your brother and being unified with your brother, then it's going off, bro. Because that's what the law, statutes, and commandments has always been about. So if you're separating yourself into a group of 1,000 members, 2,000 members, and that's causing you to have hate and nothing but bad shit and hatred to say about your brothers outside of that 1,000 members, 2,000 members, then you are in sin, bro. You are in sin. Don't get so consumed that you forget the most important thing, which is the Lord. Like, it's more important than a group that you created. You know, so you got to be careful of these different things. You know, I seen like coming in the truth, you know, you be in the truth, and I've been here myself where you will start treating people like shit. You know what I mean? People, especially people on the outside of you, treat them like shit sometimes. You would get confused quick with them. You know what I mean? You have a short temper, short leash. You will speak to people like you better than them. You sound what I'm saying? But the whole time you going off, because that's never what the law, statutes, and commandments was about. It was always about us showing love to one another. Even if a brother going off, you rebuke him, but it's a way to rebuke him. You could rebuke him respectfully. You sound what I'm saying? And guess what? Then let the Lord deal with him. It's not your job to try to force him. Your job is just to give him a warning and then let the Lord deal with him. But a lot of brothers going to be guilty of this. Just imagine you in the wilderness and you thought your camp was the number one camp, right? The best camp, the number one camp. And the Lord comes, put all that to an end, pretty much mixes all together. And then the Lord sets up a leader of a certain section. But then that leader is a guy from a whole different camp that you and your camp used to always talk shit about. Are you going to bow down to that because that's what the Lord set up, or are you going to rebel against it? That's a good question. That's a good question. Are you going to lie to yourself? Tell yourself, hey, no, this can't be right. When the Lord is there, the one setting this up. So that's a very possible thing that can happen. That's why your main focus today is supposed to be just trying to live and keep and please the Lord, man. What are you doing for people? Are you helping people? Are you giving blessings out? Or are you unifying with your people? Or are you causing a division? Or are you constantly bringing problems to the forefront? Because every video you make, you pretty much a content creator and you're getting paid. So every video you make has to be about some drama. You got to be exposed and shit. I've seen brothers where it's like they was a part of the same camp. You know, brother came down from, or he was an affiliate camp, and he came down to see an elder at the camp just to listen to him. And the guy pretty much made him walk down the street. I mean, made him get up out of there and said that he was out of order just because he came down to watch him. And they supposed to be a part of the same camp, but y'all supposed to be unified. It's not, well, no, we just talking. You could just watch me on YouTube. Y'all supposed to be unified. That's a great thing he came down there. But, right, his thing was, you could just watch me on YouTube, which goes back into the content creator thing. But the problem that I seen with it was that you didn't have to go make a video about that. You know what I mean? Like, I get the whole, I want to make a public example of you to warn the rest of them. But when this a brother that's an affiliate camp, you know, and he came and this was all done in private. You know, he didn't come with a video and had a video on the whole encounter when he came down to see you. So it's like, what about you made you have to run to the internet and expose this over the internet? When you told the brother to leave and he couldn't sit there and watch you do camp, then that should have been the end of it. And then if you still had feelings about it, you could have just contacted them, reached out to them, and said all the things that you needed to say to rebuke the brother personally. But instead, you had to run a YouTube and make a whole YouTube video exposing the brother, putting the brother face on YouTube, putting the brother image on YouTube, probably putting the brother name on YouTube in a video to have content. That's not showing love to a brother, man. That's showing hate. That's deceptiveness. Cause it's like, if he did this in private, why you just ain't rebuke him in private? See, that's nothing. You can't just keep running to YouTube for content just to rebuke a brother. Sometimes do the shit in private, man. Why? Why did you have to make a YouTube video exposing this brother? Why? Did it make you feel better? You could have just handled it in private. Reached out to him. Hey, brother, next time don't do that. I already told you all the same shit you said in the video. You could have said it in private. So why did it need to be made public on a YouTube video? See, those are content creators. Told you. But y'all get the point, man. You got to be able to control your anger. And you got to handle things the way that the Lord will want those things to be handled. With that, I'm going to say salvation to the elect. Shalom.